Alright, welcome back to the MCAT grant. We have Biology Chapter 9, the Digestive System. In the digestive system, I'm not going to focus on the organs because they're pretty straightforward. You have your mouth, right? Your stomach, your liver, bile, pancreas, everything that is involved. But I'm going to focus on the digestion and specifically the enzymes because that's what tripped me up in the last MCAT exam. And I will put more focus and emphasis on the enzymes instead. So, splitting into carbohydrate, protein, and lipids. In the carbohydrate, digestion begins in the mouth, as we know, in the amylase. By breaking starch into the maltose can then later, either by pancreatic amylase or saturated amylase, then the maltose can then be broken down by maltase, secreted by the intestinal gland, and that is released into a duodenum. And the maltose is broken down to glucose. The isomaltose breaks down into glucose by isomaltase. Sucrase breaks sucrose down to glucose and fructose, and lactase breaks glucose down into glucose and galactose. Protein digestion has more to it. Pepsin in the stomach, as we know, and it has both chief cells, which secretes the pepsinogen, and the parietal cells, which secretes the HCl. You also have your G cells that secretes your gastrin, and that starts the gastric motility. We have the trypsin, chymotrypsin, and carboxypeptidase, A and B, secreted by your pancreas, and therefore breaking down specific peptide bonds. And if you look at carboxypeptidase, carboxy, so that breaks down the amino acids from the C terminal, the carboxyl terminal. We also have aminopeptidase, dipeptidase, and enteropeptidase secreted by the intestinal glands, and aminopeptidase that breaks down amino acid from the N-terminus side. Dipeptidase breaks down dipeptides. Enteropeptidase that actually activates the trypsinogen into trypsin, as well as the chymotrypsinogen into chymotrypsin. Right, then we finally have the lipid digestion, going from the bile secreted by a liver and stored in the gallbladder to be released in large amounts, and that breaks physically into smaller fatty droplets, so it's not an enzyme, so watch out for that. Lipase is secreted by the pancreas, and that breaks down into smaller fatty acids, and we also have your CCK hormone, cholecystokinin, and that stimulates the enzymes as well as the bile. So enzyme secretion and bile. We also have what's called the fatty acid transport. So larger fatty acids will, like triglyceride, they will need to be packaged into chylomicrons and travel through the lacteals instead of going into your small intestine bloodstream. So everything else, like your glucose, your amino acids, and your small fatty acids can travel directly through the intestinal walls and into the bloodstream, but your big fatty acid chains will need to be packaged into chylomicrons and travel through the lacteals. One last thing, I believe you also have your vitamins that will be absorbed. You have your fat-soluble vitamins, which are DEAK, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin A, vitamin K. Those can travel by the chylomicrons pathway as well through the lacteals. And your other water-soluble ones, that's your B and your C and so forth, those will go through with your amino acids and your bloodstreams also. Alright, that's pretty much it for the digestive system.